Hi, I'm Stu from HiveMind Automation, and welcome to the Hive. Throughout this video series on getting started with Home Assistant and home automation, we've concentrated on setting up our Home Assistant instance, we've explored the UI, and we've also set up some automations so that we don't have to directly interact with our accessories to have them turn on and off. Inevitably, however, there will be times where you either need or want to manually interact with your smart home accessories. Whether it's to turn on a light manually, open the garage door, or arm an alarm system, Home Assistant has a dashboard interface called Lovelace in order to do that. And we've already seen Lovelace in previous videos. In this video, we're going to do a deep dive into Lovelace and we're going to customize the layout. We'll be looking at different ways to customize Lovelace. First, we'll set up an additional Lovelace dashboard, and then we'll customize it using the UI. And after that, we'll take a look at customizing the Lovelace dashboard using YAML, which we covered in the previous video. So let's dive in. Okay, so first things first, we need to navigate to our Home Assistant interface, again using the IP address and port 8123, remembering of course that port 8123 is very important when we're hitting Home Assistant. And straight away we've got our default overview dashboard. Now there's really two key concepts with Lovelace, and that's the badges up the top and then the cards down the bottom here. Now the first thing that we can do to customize our Lovelace dashboard is to start making sure that everything is in the right area. So some of these badges can be a little bit difficult to really understand what they are. And so what we might do very quickly is move some of these into appropriate areas. So for example, we've got the kitchen motion sensor battery. What we really want to do is group that with things like the kitchen illumination and the kitchen motion sensor. So I'm going to go to configuration and then entities, and I'm going to search for kitchen. Now we've got illumination, motion, and battery. I'm going to just grab any one of these, and I'm going to click on the related item here. And then we see that we've got this device, which is sensor, motion, and then this detail here. If I click on that device, we get some information about the device, and it shows us the entities that the device creates, whether it's associated with any automations, associated with any scenes or scripts, and some additional device info here, and the battery percentage. What I'm going to do is click on the cog up here, and we can now change the area that this device is assigned to. So this one is the kitchen, so I'm going to grab a kitchen and we're going to click update. Now if we go back to our overview, we'll see that now we've got this new card for the kitchen, which shows that the motion is clear and the illumination level. So once again, I'm going to go to configuration and I'm going to go to entities, and this time I want to look at the spare room, and I want to look at the spare room motion sensor. And again, I'm going to grab the device that this has come from, grab the cog in the top right hand corner. I'm going to drop this menu bar down for the area, and we're going to select spare room, and we'll hit update, go back to the overview, and now if we find spare room, we see that we've got the spare room and motion there. That particular sensor doesn't have an illumination sensor in it, and that's why we don't have the illumination there. What I'm going to do now very quickly is run through and sort out the rest of those. I'll speed up this section of the video. So now that we've made those changes, you'll see that everything's a little bit more organized, everything's on a card. Let me fix this Xiaomi light, which is for the Xiaomi gateway. I'm going to move that into where it actually is, which it's currently in the bathroom. So I will update that, and we'll head back to our overview. And we've got the Xiaomi gateway and this illumination sensor, which is also on the Xiaomi gateway. So let me change the name of that. Do that. Perfect. So that's the first way that we can customize our Home Assistant Lovelace dashboard so that we can organize everything a little bit better. Now, if we look at the cards down the bottom here, they're great, and we know what's going on. And each of these cards also has this master switch on there as well. So if we wanted to turn on the floor fan in the living room, we could do that, and it's spinning away. And if we wanted to turn everything in there off, we can do that, and it turns off the lamp and the fan. And the same for the hallway, we can turn that on and off, and we can see the state of the internal garage door, which opens into the hallway, which is why that's there. So that's great, but things like the water closet light, that water closet light has a lot more than just on and off available to it, and we can still access that by clicking here, when we turn it on, we then get some different things that we can do. We can change the color, temperature, the brightness, or we can even run an effect on there. So what would be nice, especially with these lights where we've got a lot more parameters that we can change, would be to be able to modify those straight from the dashboard. I also promised that we'd look at creating secondary dashboards. So let's take a look at creating a second dashboard, because we don't want to affect our default one. So back into the configuration tab, and we'll go to Lovelace dashboards, and we'll hit the plus button here. Give it a title. We can give it a different icon if we like, and we can change the default URL if we like. We can have it show up in the sidebar, and if we wanted to, we could also mark this admin only here, so that only users with admin privileges have access to that particular dashboard. So we'll create that new demo dashboard, and we'll see that we've got a second dashboard here. If I click on that, it's exactly the same as the dashboard that we already had, the overview dashboard. So let's click on the 3-dot stack over here, and we'll click on Edit Dashboard. We get the warning that says if you take control, you'll no longer automatically have updates. So that's why we're leaving our overview dashboard alone, and we're creating a secondary dashboard for us to modify. So it's asking us, are you sure you want to take control? And we can either start with an empty dashboard or leave it as is, and we'll hit take control. So now you'll see that if we hover over any of these cards, we can move them up, we can move them down, we can change the order, we can change the name of the tab, we can actually create additional tabs and give it a title. So let's call this security, and MDI Bell, the URL security, and we can change the theme if we wanted to as well. And there's also this panel mode. So if we are in panel mode, it renders the first card at full width, and all other cards will not be rendered. We can put badges here, and if we wanted to, we can put on a badge of, say, all of the doors. We can select all the badges that we want available on this new tab. So I'm going to grab all of the sensors for security, and we'll hit save on that. So now we've created a new tab on the dashboard, and we can go back to home, or we can go to the security tab, and we've got the badges. We can also add cards. So if we click on the plus button, we can then add cards. And straight away, we see that there are more than just the entity cards that we saw before. So we just saw these entities cards before, but we've got a whole bunch more cards that we've got available. For example, we could add a button card, a calendar card, a gauge card, a light card. Let's actually add a light card, and we will choose an entity. So we'll click the drop down, and let's just choose in this example, the water closet light, and give it a name. We can change the icon if we wanted to. So we could go MDI toilet, change the theme if we wanted to. We don't have any additional themes. There's a hold action and a double tap action, and we hit save. And we've got this water closet light either on or off, and we can then also change the brightness as well. Other cards are things like we could add a picture card or a picture element card, a picture entity card or a picture glance card. I find picture glance cards are great for using with CCTV cameras, and we'll explore CCTV cameras in another video. There's sensor cards, so if I would grab a sensor card, let's grab something that might actually give us a bit more dynamic data. So we've selected our humidity sensor from the Ensuite. We can change things like the icon, we can change the units if we wanted to, we can change the theme again, which we don't have any additional themes. We can also change the number of hours to show. So if I wanted to show more than the last 24 hours, we can turn that up, go 48 hours. So just the last 2 days, we just want to show that there. We'll hit save. And so now we've got the water closet light, the Ensuite humidity. Now what does happen if we begin adding additional cards and things in here, so pressure, we'll go save. So now that we've added a third one, this card would have run off the end of the screen, and so it's now divided it into 2 columns. We can add another card, we'll grab a button. Let's go with one of the fans, and we'll choose an icon, MDI fan, and save. Okay, and so now we've added that, so we've got 2, we've got this fan here, and I'll grab another one, and let's just grab a history graph, the Ensuite temperature. We'll add that. So again, that would have run off the end, so it's divided it into a third column. So something you've seen me doing is changing the icons of some of the entities. So if we click on edit, you'll see I've put in MDI:fan. And that's because Home Assistant can make use of material design icons. And if we go to materialdesignicons.com, we can search for different things in here. So if I were to search for actually movie would be a good one. So if I were to search for movie, we've got things like film strip box multiple, etc, etc. Or if I were to search for mobile, a bunch of different things that we can search here. This code here, so cell phone, and I could go back over to our dashboard, hit edit, and change this to MDI cell phone. And now it looks like a cell phone, but it's a fan, so I want to leave it as a fan. So that's editing using the UI, and again we can change the order here. Something to bear in mind is that if we are changing the order of cards in here, or even in YAML, which we'll take a look at shortly, the order isn't left to right and top to bottom, it's top to bottom. As they flow past the end of the screen, they'll then start cascading over to the right. Now let's take a look at a couple of other things we can do with customizing. If we click on the hamburger stack again, we've got this unused entities and raw configuration editor. Firstly, let's click unused entities, and it shows us a list of the entities that we've not yet used on this particular dashboard. So if I wanted to add the dining room temp sensor, we could tick that box and click plus and choose that we want to add it to the security thing. It says we created a suggestion for you. So we can either pick a different card or add to the Lovelace UI. Let's pick a different card, and we'll grab a gauge and we'll hit save. Go back here, and we've added that dining room tent sensor battery to our Lovelace, and it looks like I need to replace that battery. Now that probably covers everything that most people need when it comes to modifying Lovelace dashboards. However, if we click on the hamburger stack again, we have raw configuration editor. And as we spoke about YAML last week, we see that we have a YAML configuration here that we can modify our Lovelace dashboard with. For example, I can change the title to Hive Mind Automation Demo Dashboard. And you can see that we've got different views. So we've got our default view. And if we scroll down further, it might take us a little while to get there. We've then got our security title view here as well, and we've got the badges listed and the cards listed. Now if we wanted to add, say, another card in here, let's go in here and we'll put in a dash, we're going to put in type, and we're going to make this an entities type of card, and I'm going to add in an array of entities. So firstly I'm going to put in a dash entity, and I need an entity ID to add. So let me first of all open the default dashboard in a new tab, and I'm just going to grab these first two here. So I'm going to grab the entity ID, I'm going to grab that there and paste that in, and we need to give that a name as well. So we're going to call that Xiaomi Gateway Light, and I want another entity, grab the gateway illumination, so I'll grab this here, and sensor illumination, fantastic, and we'll give that a name of bathroom illumination. And I'm going to grab one more entity that is completely unrelated to this Xiaomi gateway, because both of those entities happen to be on the same device. So I'm just going to grab a laundry door sensor. So grab that ID and pop back over here, entity, and name laundry door contact sensor. So the other thing we can do with an entities type card is give it a title. So if I put in here title and then YAML demo, and then I'm going to save that change. So it doesn't like my formatting because I have a feeling that I have put in, I know what I've done here. I've failed to put in entities. So we need to actually define that we're about to tell it the entities that we're putting in. So if we hit save now, that should work. We pop back over to our demo tab. We need to click this button here, and we're on the security tab, and you'll see that we've got this YAML demo card with the 3 entities that I added. Now, like I say, YAML configuration of the Home Assistant UI is probably not required for most users, but it can be useful if you are adding custom entity cards like we looked at in Hacks. So in Hacks, if we look at front end, there's we already added the RGB light card. If we take a look at the RGB light card information, it will tell us how we can add that information into Hacks. So we need to add the following resource to the Lovelace configuration. So let's do that to begin with. So let's go to configuration, and we will go to Lovelace dashboards, and we'll click on resources here, and we're going to click plus. We need to grab the URL. So if we go back to Hacks, grab this URL, and we can paste that in here, and it asks us for the resource type as well. It does give us a warning that adding resources can be dangerous, and we need to make sure we know the source of the resource and trust them. We're okay with this one, this RGB light card, so we will add that in there. So let's pop back over to our demo dashboard, and you'll note again, HiveMind Automation demo dashboard is there. We'll click on the 3-dot stack, hit edit dashboard. So we're back in edit mode, and we're going to click the 3-dot stack again and go to raw configuration editor. I'm going to pop back over here, and we're going to take a look at how we configure the RGB light card. I'm going to grab this custom or this example configuration, pop back over to our demo, add in the custom configuration here, and we obviously need to make sure that we've got our indentation correct. So we've got entities, and I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm going to put the water closet light in here. So again, I'm going to pop back over here. I'm going to grab the water closet light, hit the cog, grab the entity ID, and we'll pop back over to the YAML, paste that in there, Perfect. Okay, and we're then going to define some colors. So any option of light.turn on service can be used in each color. So whether that's RGB, HS, or a named color. All right, so let's save. Warning us about the comments, which are in here. Okay, and we'll hit the X, and we're back to our dashboard, and we've got this RGB light source here as well. And we can just hit the X again, and we're just looking at the dashboard. We're not looking at the edit mode at all. So that's customizing the Lovelace dashboard in Home Assistant in multiple different ways. I hope that helped you out with tidying up your Home Assistant dashboards. Please like and subscribe to the channel to help me grow the channel, and share this video with your friends and family who are interested in Home Assistant. Thanks again for joining me. See you next time.